Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. So I have finally done it. I have finally upgraded to Winsor & Newton Professional Watercolor paints. So today you guys are going to join me as I set up my brand new paint palette, and I'm also going to do a little bit of a comparison of the Winsor & Newton Cotman paints versus the professional paints. So let's jump in and get right to it. Okay, so today I am doing something super exciting for me. I am setting up my very first professional watercolor palette. So as most of you know, I have been using the Cotman brand for years. These were the first watercolor tubes I ever bought. I got at a workshop and I just continued to use them because a lot of artists that I followed used them, and you know, they cost they're affordable, but they do cost a bit of money, especially if you're getting a whole palette full. And so I just wanted to stick with what I was used to and what I enjoyed, and I didn't want to branch out and spend a bunch of money on different kind of watercolors when I knew I liked these. Now these are student grade watercolors, and honestly, I have used professional before. I don't really see a difference, but I know that the professional tubes last a lot longer. The light fastness is better, and yeah, but these are way more expensive. And also, as you can see in the difference of the size of the tube, these are 5 milliliter tubes and these are 8. So this was always the best option for me and my budget. And I'm a big believer in starting off with a limited palette. You do not need all these colors. I have all these colors for a reason. Simply that I was gifted these colors. And the reason why I have so many colors in my Cotman watercolor palette is because I have just bought them over the years. So if you're just starting out, like I started out with 5 colors and then built it up over time, start with a limited palette. But like I was saying, I was gifted these beautiful professional watercolor tubes from a follower. We did a bit of a trade. She gave me all of these tubes and I gave her some artwork, and I am super excited because I think it is time for me to upgrade finally to my professional Winsor & Newton watercolors for, you know, purposes of just painting and selling my artwork. I will not be using this palette for my YouTube tutorials because I also want to be showing you how to work with more affordable materials, as well as I want to save these for work that I will be selling. I love to ramble. Okay, so now I'm just going to show you quickly how I set up my palettes. Okay, a lot of people do it in different ways. There's no right or wrong way to do this. It's totally up to you and your own preference. Some people like to do cool colors on one side, warm colors on the other. You can group them with how you mix them most of the time. What I like to do is going by the colors of the rainbow, but I will start with yellow at one side. So I start with my yellows into my orange and red. I'm going to be getting another red here. And then I will move into my pinks. I'm going to be getting a permanent rose, which will be right here. So my pinks and then my purples here. I like to group my pinks and purples together, but I also like having my purple close to my greens because I do a lot of mixing with purple and green to get a darker green. Okay, so I usually have them right across from each other. And then for my greens, I move on to my blues and then grays, and then I'll have black and brown. So I am missing a few. These are the colors I was gifted, but I will be purchasing, I think, about 5 more colors. So I will go through all the colors that I have in this palette, but this is how I usually set them up. And if you see, it is very similar: yellows, reds, orange, pink, purple, then the greens across, blue, gray, black. So same kind of deal. This palette is bigger and it has a lot more wells, so I'm gonna have a bit more empty space, and maybe over time, you know, I'll try new colors. And now I am going to put them in the palette. So quickly, I did not prep this palette beforehand. I know some people have done toothpaste and baking soda and scrubbed it to make sure that the colors don't bead. But with all of my palettes, I just can continue to use them and they worked fine. So I'm not doing anything to this palette before I put my colors in. I'm gonna put them in and let them dry overnight, and then my palette will be set to go. Okay, so now as you see, all of my paints are in my palette, including the ones that I have just purchased. I am going to go through and swatch every single one of these for you at the end of the video so you can see what they look like on paper. But before we try that, I wanted to do a bit of a comparison between the professional and the Cotman ones. Now, the first part of this video I filmed a few days ago, and then I waited to purchase the other colors that I wanted. And honestly, I've been playing around a bit. And when I tried out the professional watercolors a little while ago, like I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago, I didn't see a difference, but I don't know if it's because I have, you know, a bit more knowledge or more experience. I see a bit of a difference now, and I get it, and I see the worth in getting the professional ones. So I just wanted to show you guys to see if you guys could see the difference too. So I'm going to swatch a couple of the same colors that I have of each, and then you guys can see for yourselves. So first I'm going to start with sap green. So here's the professional sap green. And what I've noticed with the professional ones is that it's super buttery and super pigmented. It just goes on so nice and smooth, and it's so vibrant. I just did that from a dry pan, like these are dry, and I just wet it up, and it started to activate super fast, and I love that. So this is also a dry sap green, and I feel like it takes a little bit longer to get. It's great, it's just not as pigmented, and like I can keep trying to get it's saturated, but it's just not as vibrant as the professional. So I get the difference, okay? I can definitely see the quality difference. Does this mean I think you should go out and buy professional watercolors right now? No, it took me about 3.5 years to get here, okay? There's nothing wrong with using cheaper paints, especially if you're on a budget. This is not what I'm saying. I am just starting to use these because I am planning on selling my artwork eventually. And I think it's about time for me. I'm in a place where I can afford it now. So that's why I'm getting professional watercolors. But I just want to show you the difference, but this does not mean that you should go out and buy professional watercolors right away. Okay, let's try a different one. Permanent Rose is one of my favorite colors. Again, going right from dry. And it's super pigmented, like right away. That's one thing I really like about these. Usually it takes a little while of scrubbing the color to get some pigment off of it. Yeah, see, it's just not as vibrant. It's still great, but it's just not as vibrant. The colors are pretty similar though, if not exactly similar. Not all of them though. These ones are pretty similar. I'll show you with Payne's Gray. I find the Payne's Grays are a bit different. So this is Payne's Gray in professional. I feel like it has a bit more of a blue tint to it. It almost looks like the indigo in my Cotman palette. Yeah, this has a bit more of a blue tint to it. And I almost like just this shade of Payne's Gray better. It's a bit more gray. This one's a bit more blue, but it's still great. I'll show you, I'll do a close-up shot of these after too. One more that I can show you is the Hooker's Green. That's another one I use a lot. Now this is Hooker's Green, and the one in the Cotman one is Hooker's Green Dark, so it does look a bit different, I find. This one is a bit more vibrant, but they still mix as well. It's just a bit of a different tone, but they're still great. But yeah, the pigment just slides on so much better with the professionals. So that's my little comparison, just to give you some insight into what the difference is. And the professionals will last longer on paper. But honestly, I think they're both great for different reasons. Cotman has served me well for so long, and I'm still going to continue to use them throughout my tutorials. But I'm super excited that I finally upgraded to my professional. Okay, so now that I'm done comparing, I am going to swatch all of these for you in a nice little slow kind of montage so you guys can get the full look at what these colors look like. Thank you all so much for watching my video. I really hope you liked it and I hope you learned something. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, click that little bell icon so you can get notified every time I put out a new video, and follow me on Instagram and Facebook for even more. Have a great day, guys. Bye.